Episode 82 of the podcast. This week we're talking about how patience always pays off. Gentle, kind, and patient handling is the key to teaching dogs to be good. You're listening to the Creating Great Grooming Dogs podcast. I'm Chrissy Newmeyer-Smith. I'm a certified professional groomer, a certified behavior consultant for canines, a certified professional dog trainer, and the owner of Happy Critters in Nashua, New Hampshire. And this, my friends and colleagues, is the podcast where grooming and training meet. Patience pays off. Gentle and kind and patient handling is always worth the time. Now think about that. I just said always. There are very few things in this world, the always and nevers, but this is one. Gentle and kind handling and patient handling is always worth the time to do. Now, I'm going to say for a number of reasons. So let's explore some of those. First reason, it is much safer for the dog, for you, and for your equipment because it's easier to avoid a disaster if you're being gentle, if you're being kind, and if you're being patient with the dog. Because when a dog gets worried, when a dog gets moving around, when a dog gets silly, when a dog gets frustrated, that's when dogs get hurt, people get hurt, and equipment gets broken. Straight off the top, boom, that's one great reason to put in the extra time to be gentle, to be kind, and to be patient. Sometimes it's going to feel like a lot more work, because some dogs need more help with this. But it's always, always, always worth the time. Always. All right. A second reason, it helps our animals settle down and it demonstrates that we're not trying to be mean. And that's an interesting thing because animals are looking to us to figure out why we're doing stuff, when we're doing stuff, what to expect from us. And if we're generally kind of relaxed, patient, helping them calm down, watching for their responses. So much of it is just good general handling. But think about for an animal who's trying to figure out what's expected, what we do makes a big difference. They're watching us. They're learning that we're not trying to be mean to them. Because very few people do something truly mean while they're slowly talking and gently touching and relaxing a dog, right? Some of the things that we do are uncomfortable. Some of the things that we do are unpleasant, certainly in the veterinary field, but a lot in the grooming field too. And I think that sometimes owners don't understand that and non-groomers don't understand that, but not all the dogs that we work on are 100% healthy. Plenty of these dogs have arthritis in their legs, have hip problems, have knee problems, have balance issues. Have some skin condition that makes them really itchy, and we're running brushes and water and soap, and we're touching them all over, and sometimes that's not pleasant. But when we are being patient with them, we're being gentle, and we're showing a kindness, we're aware of what they might be going through, and we're trying to make it as pleasant as possible, yeah, that makes a big difference. Because there are plenty of times when we have to do something that is unpleasant. And I love it when dogs come right back to me like, oh, thank goodness it was over. Right? Like, I know you had to do something unpleasant and now I'm coming back over to you because I feel better. Okay? And I don't want to be too anthropomorphic about that. So let me give you some examples because we certainly don't know what they are feeling and what they are thinking. But as an example, when one of my guys needed some help getting around a sore foot, when I calm him down, gentle, relaxed, and I have to work on that piece, that little area that he was worried about. I think he cut himself on a rose bush. I think he just had a little cut kind of along his foot. Nothing big, but certainly something that was bothering him. I'm just relaxing him, taking a look, cleaning it up. When I let go and tell him he can leave, he chooses not to. Why? Why does he choose not to? Because I spent the time being gentle, kind, and patient, and I demonstrated through my actions that I'm not trying to be mean. There's nothing mean in my spirit about it, just that something I have to do isn't going to be pleasant. It's going to hurt. All right? So that's the second reason. third reason. Oh, the third reason for being gentle, kind, and patient in your handling of these animals is that it lowers your own stress level. Ah, this is such a great reason, right? We want to do these careers for a long time. To lower your own stress level is so important. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to help this dog relax. And because, as I've said many times on this podcast, because we're talking to our owners ahead of time and explaining to them, listen, if your dog is having trouble with this, I don't want your dog to get hurt. I'm here to keep your dog safe first, clean second, trimmed up pretty third, right? Like, to be thinking about those things. There's a hierarchy there. What's most important and is that the dog isn't going to get hurt while we have sharp objects around them. And owners, it's okay to let them know that their dog needs some extra help, needs some training, guide them, tell them who they need to go to, tell them what they can do themselves. Maybe you're telling them homework, maybe you're showing them something, maybe you're sending them to a trainer or you're sending them to their vet. But don't be afraid to say, I think he's going to be really way too silly and I need to calm him down. We might not be able to get it all done today, right? Lower your stress level. Lower your own stress level. Because when do we get stressed out? When things become physically hard, when things get a little bit too dangerous, those are times that we stressed out. So we're going to avoid it by doing gentle, kind, and patient handling. Now, here is a fourth reason. Other dogs watching across the room are learning about you and what you do. Those other dogs are watching what you do. And that's something that I think some of us forget, right? They're watching. If one dog watches us get angry or upset with another dog, that says something about us. So I'm going to give you an example. My last dog, she was a puppy. Oh gosh, she was such a nervous Nelly in general, but she watched a brusher bather trying to do toenails on a dog that was being kind of aggressive. Now, what my little girl didn't know, she didn't know that dog had a muzzle on. She didn't understand muzzles yet. I don't think she'd been around those. And she didn't know that brusher bather was really safe. Like, that dog was tied in such a way that, you know, she couldn't, the face wasn't gonna hit my friend, you know. So my dog is watching this and suddenly she's growling. My dog never growled, right? That was not something she would do. She was ready to fling herself at that Rottweiler to save her friend, right? Think about the other animals in the room are watching all of our interactions. All of those animals are paying attention to what is happening. And the more we can be like, all right, let's just take it down a notch. I need you to relax. I need you to calm down. Also tells them, I am relaxed, confident, in charge of the situation. Everybody should feel safe. And I'll tell you what, it does the same thing for people. It does the same thing for people. Owners that watch you calm a dog down, calm down more. Right? They're like, oh, okay. Really? This is okay? Yeah, we're all fine. Let's just calm down. I cannot tell you how many times I've been at somebody's house and I'll turn around and say things like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, we're going to calm down, sweetie. Friends don't bite friends. And owners start giggling. They're like, friends don't bite friends. I'm like, yeah, see, friends don't bite friends. So the other animals are around. They're watching what you're doing. Other groomers are watching what you're doing. Owners coming through are watching what you're doing. So to be gentle, kind, patient is actually an essential part of the job. Now I've got another example of why that's good. Here's a fifth reason. Most of our owners want their dogs to be handled safely. And if we explain to them that gentle, kind, and patient, calm, comfortable, and cooperative, right? That means that we're handling them safely. They're like, oh, okay. Right? The customer who is so worked up about getting a trim perfect just needs help understanding that I would love to put your dog in a perfect trim. I love perfect trims. I love making dogs look good. But if your dog can't handle that yet, we need to teach them how so that we can have a lifetime of beautiful trims. And the owners were like, I don't care. I just need him to be cleaned up. I just need this done. What you usually find is those are owners who are really stressed out in other parts of their life. They're on a time commitment. They have money problems, right? They're just trying to think, why can't I just get the freaking haircut? Can't I just get the freaking haircut? We need to calm them down. Help them, reassure them, talk to your customers and say, I want your dog to have a beautiful haircut too. And this is most important today to make progress, because we're always making progress. We're always thinking about making progress. This isn't about, oh, this is the way it's going to be forever. If you do it right, kind, gentle, patient handling isn't going to be something that never works. It always helps. Always. Always. Always, 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 always. Now, reason number 6, why we should always be thinking about gentle, kind, and patient handling is that it's part of our industry to provide humane treatment and handle behavior problems humanely, right? And humane and handling problems, there's some of that is very subjective. What do you consider humane? What do you consider inhumane? But to be gentle, yeah, okay, I think we can all agree that that's part of being humane. To be kind, yeah, okay, I don't see any issue with that. To be patient, yeah, don't see any issue with that either. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the only way to provide humane treatment, because there are times when there's an emergency, veterinary staff have to deal with that more. But a grooming shop could have an emergency. There could be a point when something dramatic has just happened and you absolutely can't worry about what that dog's going through in their brain right now because you need to stop the bleeding, right? Or you need to do something in that moment, right? So I want you to think, in general, gentle, kind, and patient handling is also, here's number 7, kind of common sense, right? When did we get away from the common sense aspect of gentle, kind, and patient handling? Because we get too worried about what we need to get done in that moment and what the expectations are from our customers. So we're going to talk about that more in the next part, making sure that our customers' expectations are in line with us being able to do our job and provide kind, gentle, and patient handling. One of the hardest parts of being gentle, kind, and patient while we're trying to get our job done is that we have to be in line with our owner's expectations. So I need everyone safe. I need to keep everyone safe. That's the pets, that's myself, period. End of discussion. That is the most important thing. I don't want an animal leaving injured. Sometimes mistakes happen, sometimes accidents happen, of course. But when we're being gentle, kind, and patient in our handling, and we have an awareness of what this dog is going through, what kind of things are happening, we can also express that to our owners that this is important and it's really important for safety. But when I check in a dog, that's where it all starts. Actually, for many customers, it starts on the phone when we make the appointment, before they even come in. For my house call business, I have a release form, my safety policy, that I send to them. I mean, along with, of course, our discussion about it, but it's already in there. Because when I first check in a dog, I bring a brush and a comb. Bring a brush and a comb. Why not, right? So why would I do that? Well, first step is I'm going to assess the coat. Let's take a look. Let's see what we've got, right? Is this like tons of hair fluffing out? Is this some matting that the owners didn't see? What are we doing? What do we have on that coat? How much length? What kind of length do they want? One of the ways to express that is to get in there with a brush and a comb and start talking about, okay, what about if it were down to here? What if it were down to here? Talk to your owners. They should be getting a feel for who you are. okay? And or who your employees are, right? I want you to be thinking like they should feel comfortable with the person they're dropping their dog off with. Now, the other reason why I would bring in a brush and a comb is to assess the dog's reaction. How does the dog handle something as simple as a brush and a comb? How does the dog handle me being down near them? How does the owner handle it? Are they like, oh my God, you're putting something metal next to my dog's eye? Which I've actually seen. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's literally what you're paying us to do is put metal next to their eyes. So, yeah, let's talk more. Owners aren't thinking about how this works and how things happen, right? So assess the dog's reaction and be ready to explain to an owner what we might need to do to help that dog stay calm, comfortable, and cooperative, why that's so important. It also gives us a chance to show them how we kind of help the dog calm down. And we can talk to them about notice how much longer that took. Like you thought I could just say, oh, you mean like if we did a little bit over the eyes like this, snip, snip, snip? Whereas I was like, oh, let's even take a look at his eyes. Okay, let's calm him down. All right, we're almost to the point where we can get a comb near his eyes. Let's take a look up near the eyes. Oh, we're not ready yet? Okay, I just need to show your mommy your eyes, honey bunny, right? To tell them, obviously, this isn't a dog who is ready for just quick snip, 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 snip. Owners catch that. They pay attention. We need to explain it. Learn to love people. Learn to really like your owners, right? When you get on the floor and you're starting to show them, okay, so a little bit like this. So if I try to comb it forward and I can kind of show you what I would do on this head. If I can't get that comb on their dog's head, they're seeing that now. It's going to be so much easier to explain to them. Your dog might not look perfect today. It's going to be okay though, because we're going to do handling in such a way that your dog builds trust. Your dog builds some confidence. Sometimes it's confidence. Sometimes we want them to have a little less confidence, right? Like, okay, your dog's going to learn what we need, when we need it, how it works, and that everything is safe. It's fine. Don't worry, okay? So by bringing a comb and a brush, that's great to show an owner that, hey, look how much wiggling he's doing next to his eye, right? Now, the other reason why I bring a brush and a comb, here's the best reason. And this happened this week with a little puppy. Before I even did anything else on that puppy, I'm like, I'm just going to give you a little brushing lesson. All right, Cocker Spaniel Poodle mix. Let me show you a little bit of brushing. She's like, oh, great, because I have one of those brushes and I have a comb like that. I'm like, fantastic. Let me just show you a little bit then, and any questions you have, I'll answer. She's like, oh, okay. It's only a minute or two. It's not like we need to offer them a seminar. We're just showing a minute or two. So I ran the brush over the top of the coat and said, that looks pretty good. And she's like, yeah. So I peeled the coat apart and made a nice little part and showed her that didn't even get the curls out closer to the skin. Then I did another part where I parted it to the skin and ran the slicker through and brushed all the way to the skin. So one hip is the way that most owners do it, just brushed over the top. The other hip is the way that I would do it. And for many, many owners, that's their aha moment. Oh, okay. I'm like, so that's how, for her lifetime, she's going to need to be brushed. That's how you get down to the bottom. Because, and I even said these words to a customer. This is pretty common for me to say to a customer, because I understand where owners are coming from when they're like, I brush all the time. They feel like they're wasting their time because every time they bring their dog in, people say you haven't been brushing them. Imagine how frustrating that must be for an owner, right? Like, I want you to know how to do it and do it effectively so that you don't get stuck with like constantly hearing that you're not doing it. I did do it. Let's teach them how to do it right. So when I have the brush out and a comb, they're also seeing the way I interact with their dog. This opens up that conversation about how I'm going to help your dog calm down, how I'm going to help your dog be steady while I put something near his eye, how I'm going to touch his ears. It gives you the opportunity to kind of move around them. Like, okay, let me just check and see, is there anything underneath this backside? Is there anything underneath over near this hock? Is this going to be so tight that I have to trim it down? Are these legs going to be so tight that we have to trim it down? Because we don't want him to go home looking like an ostrich. And owners look at you like, But if it's tight on the legs, can't we just trim that down? So you kind of have to tell them the dog would look like an ostrich. Right? Those couple of spots that need to be taken down, we need to discuss that and also talk about, do you want a dog with just shaved legs and a fluffy body? Of course not. That would look really, really kind of silly, right? But by bringing our comb out and a brush, we also get talking to the owner, help the owner feel comfortable with us. Be kind and gentle and patient with your owners too. Be nice to people. So that gives us a chance while we're taking in a dog to make sure that our owners have clear expectations. Clear expectations. Now, I will tell you there are times where an owner will say, well, but like if you just have extra time, I mean, if it's going to take longer, I have more time today. And you have to kind of tell them, I don't think your dog can handle more time than that today. That's important for an owner to know, right? How much attention span do you think your dog has? Because I'll tell you what, the show dogs who are up on the table for 4 hours are used to being up on a table for 4 hours. Your average, 3-month-old puppy cannot handle that. So even if you have the extra time in your day, make sure owners know. It's easier if we set up a separate appointment, do it differently, because they need to understand that. They need to understand where we're coming from and that it's not just about an extra service charge, right? We need to make sure they realize that. This isn't about, I need to charge you more. This is about what's best for your dog. And if your dog learns to be good for it, they're going to be good for it for the long haul. And one of the things I love most is after doing all these things and you bring a dog back to the owner is not expecting everything to be beautifully groomed. And often the dog is. Okay? That's part of why we need to have the conversation. Because so often you're going to be able to get something really pretty and you have a little bit of extra time, or you already discussed that there will be an extra charge, right? You're going to be able to get something pretty, but the owner has an expectation now, and that's great because they're going to start to figure out, oh, all right, my dog was much better by the end. Talk to them. Most of the dogs are better by the end of the grooming, except that they kind of reach a point where they're like, this is taking so long. They're like little kids who want to get out of school, like that last bell. Do you remember being in school and that last bell to ring? You were just like waiting for it. You're watching the clock like, oh my God, 5 more minutes. Oh my God, 5 more minutes. I just can't wait to get out of here. It's such a beautiful day. I want to go outside, right? That's our dogs. They just want it to be over. So be patient, kind, and gentle with your handling. Build the skill set the dog needs. Help the owners understand what you need from them. Take a brush and a comb. Let them see a little bit of what their dog's behavior is. Let them see a little bit of the coat situation we've got going on. Educate your owners. It only takes a couple minutes. It can take a little bit longer than that, but really, spend a minute or two, plan on a minute or two, and it makes a world of difference with what their expectations are. Because they might tell you, oh, I don't really care, I just need him to get done. But when you educate them, then they start realizing, oh, well, I mean, I don't want him to get nicked. I don't want anyone to get hurt. And, yeah, I guess. And you're going to get the occasional person who's just like, I don't care. Then just, muzzle him, strap him down. I don't care what you need to do, and he needs to look perfect. They're not your clientele. I want them to hear from every single dog professional that they ever meet that, no, we don't do things that way. We just don't. Why? We can teach them to be good. It takes some time. It takes some patience. It takes some gentle, kind handling. Be patient with people. Be patient with their dogs. Help people understand. Get those ideas in their head that it's not forever. When we teach them to be good, each time they're better. During each grooming, they improve. The dog that won't let you handle the top of their head at the beginning of the grooming is probably doing really pretty well in the middle and toward the end. Okay? It's always improvement until eventually their dog doesn't have an issue anymore. And you've built this really, really great foundation of, hey, grooming is safe. Grooming is all right. Your groomer loves you. Everything will be okay. Whatever it is that dog needs to hear. At some point, we got away from the weekly action steps, but here we are again, giving you little things to work on each week or in association with each episode. And this week's weekly action step is to think about, am I being kind, gentle, and patient? Is that the way that I handle the dogs, even the dogs that are frustrating or frustrated, even the dogs that are having a hard time, even the dogs that I feel I'm having a hard time with? Am I spending the time calming myself down and being gentle, kind, and patient? If you're enjoying this podcast, please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes, and tell all of your friends. If you'd like more information, you can find me at Chrissy at happycritters.net, happycrittersdogtraining.com, or you can join the Facebook group, Creating Great Grooming Dogs podcast, or the Facebook page, Creating Great Grooming Dogs. I really look forward to hearing from you.